So in one of my other videos, I ranked the live action Batman appearances, and I talked about the actors and, what they mean to me, and it was a very personal list, and I wanted to make a live action Batsuit list because I made a live action Spider-Man suit ranking, especially after all the hype of the new Brand New Day suit, and I thought it would just kind of be fun to talk about live action Batsuits because, Batman is my favorite superhero of all time. Now, that being said, I feel like this kind of goes without saying, but I'll say it anyways. This suit is this list is very opinionated and opinion-based. Anything I say is just my thoughts. If you think differently, let me know in the comments down below what your ranking is. But I'll be ranking 12 suits, and same thing goes for most of my other ranking lists I do. I'll only be ranking stuff that I have experience with or experience seeing. So that being said, I believe I have 12 suits on here. I'm not going to be including the live action or the first live action Batman appearance where he's in black and white. But with that being said, we'll get into it, going from worst to best. And worst by far for me, you can fight me in the comments if you want to. Worst by far is Ben Affleck's Batsuit from The Flash. This thing is a piece of shit. I'm sorry, not sorry. It's a piece of garbage. I've heard some people defending this, and like I said, everyone's welcome to their opinion. But I feel like on this one, you're kind of just wrong if you defend it. It's pretty bad. If you don't know what it is, I'm obviously going to have a picture up here, but damn, man, this thing is, first of all, he's got the bat training bra with like the beehive hex design. It also looks really odd because it's a suit that's in the in-between of being over-designed, like I said, on the chest, but then the rest of it is like super undesigned or under-designed, where it looks like he kind of like was sleeping in his bat pajamas and got called out to crime. So he threw on his little training bra, his utility belt, and a few other things, and then just hit the door. Whereas other bat suits look like they're actually like combat ready for the most part. Even Ben Affleck's more cloth looking suit looks just more, I don't know how to put it. It just looks more fighting ready. This one's very bizarre. And if I had to say something nice about it, I will say I like the color of the cape and cowl, and the overall color scheme isn't necessarily bad. It's the gray and blue. At least I think it's blue. Maybe I'm colorblind, but either way, I think it's cool that we got gray and blue, especially for Affleck's Batman before it was our last time seeing him. And I think that's really nice, but anything else about this suit, honestly, guys, is just shit to me. There's not really much else to say about it, to be honest. Like, there's nothing really here. So, with that being said, I guess we'll just move on. Next up, I have the Batman and Robin ice suit. Now, if you haven't seen this one, again, I'll be having pictures of all of them, but this one, guys, I'm not going to lie. At first, when I was making this, I'm like, well, that one's not that bad. No, it's pretty bad. First of all, I didn't even know where to start. It's very over-designed. When I was a child, this one's hard because when I was a child, I loved this suit, and rightfully so. Most of these suits in these like Batman movies in the 90s, like Kilmer's and Clooney's, if you guys didn't know, were like made to sell toys, as well as a lot of the vehicles and stuff like that. So as a kid, I loved this because I'm like, wow, it looks so cool. But as an adult, I hate all the white accents on it. Maybe if it was just like the Bat logo, I'd be fine with it. But it's got these weird like zigzags on the thighs that I'm assuming are supposed to maybe like show off the muscles, but I don't really see that. And it's got them going all along the arms, and the abdomen looks really funky. Not to mention him and Robin or Nightwing are wearing like bat jock straps or bat thongs. I don't even know how to describe those, but they're it's definitely a choice. And I will say, I know I'm not ranking Batgirl and Robin and stuff like that, but there's a picture of the trio for this movie, and Batgirl's actually is not that bad. Like, her suit's not horrible. But yeah, Batman and Robin's or Batman and Nightwing's, I don't know what they were doing. Even without bat nipples, this one is pretty rough, not gonna lie. Maybe you guys think differently. I will, if I had to say something nice about it again, I would say, maybe the cowl. I like how it has that, like, kind of, it has these, like, pieces where they kind of, extend a little bit by his cheek. I like that, I guess. I don't know. The bat ears are good length as well. I know bat ears are a very hotly debated topic within the Batman fandom because, apparently we have nothing else to talk about. So I think that one is very fairly put there. Now, moving on to one that I hate to put here, and I say that because I think aside from this one detail, it's a really, really solid suit. I'm going to have to put Val Kilmer's Batman Forever suit here. Now, this one hurts because I'm putting it here, I'm going to be honest, solely because of the bat nipples. And some of you may be thinking that's over dramatic. I've seen a lot of, change in opinion on the bat nipples lately with this suit. And, people saying like, well, it's not that bad. It doesn't ruin the suit. No, for me, it ruins the suit. I literally cannot help but notice it. It bothers me every time I see it. I just can't do it. I really can't. And I say it hurts because this suit fucking rocks otherwise. Like, the color scheme. It's literally, okay, basically it's Keaton's suit upgraded, honestly. It looks a lot more like it looks like he can move a lot better in it. It's got these weird but honestly cool little like underarm parts that are like mesh. It just looks like it'd be more comfortable to move. It does have a lot of the 90s superhero muscle detailing, but I mean, most superhero suits have that, so you can't really hold that against it. It's not like, the nipples. But yeah, I mean, I really love the color scheme. I love the cape for this one. It's like silky. I don't know. It's very, this cape just feels like a toy, or this suit just feels like a toy came to life. And I mean that in the best way possible because I loved this as a kid. And, I want to love it now, but I don't know, guys. It's those nipples. I just cannot get past them. You can call me stubborn or stupid, but I just can't. Next up, I have the Justice League tactical suit, Ben Affleck's suit he wore in Justice League. I have this one here just because, I don't know, you'll see it much higher on my list, but if I have to pick a suit for Affleck, I don't really like the armored or over-designed ones, and I feel like this one is a mix of both. It's armored, so it's like a version of the Batman v Superman gray and black suit, just armored, basically. And I feel like it's a little bit, parts of it a little bit weird. Like the Bat logo has these weird lines on it that cut it off. The cape and the cowl have a very odd, like, texture to them. I don't really know why that is, but it's got these weird, like, lines and, like, dots on it. And then he's got the goggles as well, which at the time I thought were cool, but now I'm like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me. Like, Batman's been in battles like this before, or at least like battles. He's never really needed goggles, so I just think it's kind of odd looking back on it. Not to mention he's got the weird slots for it on the cowl on the sides. So yeah, I don't know, guys. Not a really big fan of this one, but then again, I think it's interesting because outside of the Batsuit, Ben Affleck looks sick. But I stand by the fact that, like, when he's in the Batsuit, I think Ben Affleck looks awkward in most of them. And speaking of that, I'm going to move on to the armored suit from Batman v Superman. Now, this one, I don't know. I thought it was going to upset people, but I was talking to a lot of my friends, and I got mixed opinions, so I guess I'm not alone. This suit is interesting, and I feel like it's kind of unfair to rank on this list because it's just so, like, out there. Compared to all the others. I mean, even the ones with like the jock straps and the nipples, this one's just very different. It's almost like an Iron Man suit, so it just seems kind of unfair to rank, but I'm doing all live action suits that I've seen, and this is one of them. So I'm putting it here just because, like I mentioned, not a fan of the over design or the armored design. And this one isn't necessarily over designed because it doesn't even have a bat logo. It's actually just armor. But I just have never been a fan of the way he looks in it. I think it's very clunky looking. I think it looks ridiculous when he's moving around in it in the movie. He looks very slow, very awkward. I think it makes for a really badass fight scene, and I think it's a really cool moment with him fighting Superman and allowing him to do that. But that being said, I can't really just, put it higher because it has a cool fight scene with it. One thing I will say nice about this suit, I like the eyes a lot. The glowing blue eyes. It's really sick, especially if you see it in the movie when he's like in the rain and he's facing off against Superman. It's just very cool. It's a very interesting contrast too to Superman's red eyes when he uses them in the movie. It's just, I don't know. It is a pretty cool suit, but I honestly just think there's better ones. Speaking of a better suit, next up I have the sonar suit from Batman. I believe it's Batman Forever, but I could be incorrect. Either way, I know it's Kilmer. And this suit is another interesting one because, like I mentioned with the other Kilmer and Clooney suits, I loved this suit as a kid. And frankly, obviously, I still love it as an adult. I think it holds up. It does not have bad nipples. It does have a little bit of the over design on the muscle department, or like weird design at least on the abdomen. But that doesn't really bother me as much on this one because it kind of blends with the rest of the suit. Especially if you see him like draped in darkness, it looks really sick. There's a shot from the movie where he's like confronting the Riddler, and yeah, it's just really cool. Like he's draped in shadow, and it looks badass. I also like the color. It's kind of odd because it's like a silver blue, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's an interesting mix between Keaton's and his other suit in Batman Forever, where it looks pretty movable still. So the functionality is there for sure. I really like that. I like the cape. Honestly, most things about this. His utility belt always reminded me, by the way, of Buzz in Toy Story 2 when he's got that like blue belt or whatever. But that's besides the point. Anyways, I think this one is really solid. I think it's more than fair to put it here. Obviously, there's better suits than this, but I will say, out of all the ones we've reviewed so far, this is, definitely one of my favorites. Now, this next one is going to be maybe controversial, maybe not, but I'm putting it here solely based on nostalgia and love for the actor, and that's going to be Adam West's suit. This suit, I think it's fair to say that it definitely has some flaws, but like I said, this one is just very blinded for me by nostalgia, and I recognize that. So if you don't really like this suit and you think it's unfair to put it here, just know that's why. But if you still don't agree, then I don't really give a fuck. So, but yeah, some of the flaws for sure are like, I think the Bat logo is a little bit too low. I think it can be a little bit goofy given the context of the show. But then again, this whole show is a product of its time. So that's why I felt weird ranking his Batman when I did my other video, because I just felt bad because I'm like, well, I don't like this. But, then again, I wasn't around in the 60s to see it. So maybe if I was, it would be much higher up. But that being said, I could still appreciate the legacy West had and has. And I do love a lot of parts of this suit. I love the practicalness. I love the underwear on the outside. As far as I know, it's the only appearance of Batman in live action that we've gotten that. I love the color scheme, especially like the baby blue hints and accents, the classic utility belt. I mean, this suit's just classic Batman for me. And it's nice to have a version or like an option to have such a Silver Age Batman on this list full of armored and tech suits. I think it's just really cool. And it's a really good breath of fresh air, especially when I was reviewing this list. Next up, I'm going to put Batman Begins Christian Bale suits. This one, now, I will say, for Spider-Man, I did not separate Tobey's from movie to movie, but I did separate Bale's, at least from Batman Begins to the other two, because I do feel like there's a stark enough difference, and they even mention it in the movie, that it necessitates being ranked separately. And that being said, I do think this Batman Begins suit is the weakest suit out of the two that he wears. Or I guess you could debate three, but in my opinion, it's really just two. Because the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises suit are pretty identical. This suit is fine. I think this suit has a lot of nostalgia for me because this came out when I was like, 9 years old, or not even 9, probably younger. But I like it has some weird elements that I really like. I like the utility belt. I love the color and the way it fits. Like it's an actual it's like a mix between an actual utility belt that is useful, but also being very tactical and looking just cool like the other, like Kilmer and Clooney suits. I dislike the way the logo looks on this one. I dislike the material of the entire like body suit. It kind of looks like it feels like foam in a way. I also really dislike the weird like triangle pins that keep his cape down. I understand it. I do. I know this is a very practical take on the suit, but I'm just not a huge fan of that. But everything else I really love. I think the bat ears look awesome. The cowl looks sick. The cape, I really love this cape. It's like velvet. It's very odd, but also a very interesting take on it. I really enjoy it. I like the gloves. I like the gauntlets. I like everything. Like I said, I mean everything else about this, aside from his voice. I'm Batman. But everything else I really like. So I think this one's very fairly put here. It just kind of sucks for it that there's better suits on this list. Next up, I have Ben Affleck's Batman v Superman gray and black suit. This one is another one where it's like, God, guys, I wish I could put it higher. I really do, but like I mentioned earlier, things I like. First off, I love the color scheme. I love it. I love the stitch. I don't even know how to describe this one. It's almost like, it looks like parts of it are like fabric and cloth and stitched, but then parts of it look like it's like wired together on like the shoulders and the uppers, and it's just very, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It looks like a very practical but also very sturdy bat suit, which I like. Things I dislike though, I don't like the length of the ears. I think Affleck himself looks very like funky in this. Like, it's weird because Affleck's a tall guy, and if you don't know that, he's a pretty tall guy. But for some reason, this suit, he looks like he's been like condensed down into it, like he's being like kind of compressed into it. It's very odd looking. Like, even when he's in the suit, he looks kind of short, except from like certain scenes, I guess. But for the most part, it just looks very awkward to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe you guys can speak to that too, but he just looks kind of puffy in it, and not in a good way where it's like, he clearly does have a lot of muscle, but it's not just that. It just looks very odd, like inflated. I don't know. Maybe I'm not making much sense there, but that's just my thoughts. I do love this suit though. That's why it's so high up here. And honestly, I wish I could put it even higher, because I think this suit would be a high contender or a top contender for number one had it just tweaked certain things. Now, moving on, we're on to the top three people, and it's getting interesting. I put a lot of thought into these three, and part of these are nostalgia purely, and part of them are just, in my opinion, fact. And in third, I have Christian Bale's Dark Knight Rises suit. This one is an improvement on the Batman Begins suit in every way, in my opinion. I think it's a really, really solid suit. I love the color schemes they kept. In my opinion, the logo looks a lot better. They kept the utility belt looking awesome. It's a bit over-designed in the abs, and like, I guess not over-designed, because it is supposed to be tactical and practical, I guess. So I guess that's not super fair. I don't know. I actually like that. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I like the over-design element, which doesn't make sense because I've criticized it on others, but I just think it looks very sleek here. Maybe it helps that it's very, it's a very dark suit, so it kind of blends. I think the gauntlets look sick. The cowl looks a little bit funky in certain, I don't know, maybe it's just certain scenes I saw, but it makes his mouth look a little weird and his chin look a little bit weird. But I love the cape. Honestly, guys, this is an awesome suit. It just, it's unfortunate for it that the other two are, on this list. So I think this one's very fairly put here. I think it's a very great suit, and I think Ben Affleck's Batman is a great Batman. Next up, I have, and this is going to surprise some people if you saw my other Batman video, but I have Michael Keaton's Batsuit. And most of you may have thought this would be number one if you have seen my other video. But I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, even though I kind of already have. I'll talk about this one. I really like it a lot. I think it's it's hindered by its impracticality. Like I mentioned earlier with Kilmer's, how it looks a lot more practical, a lot more movable. This one's just very, it's a little bit funky and honestly hard to look past, even with nostalgia goggles of him like turning his whole body just to turn his head. But I will say, I love the color scheme. I love the design. It's not over designed, even for like the 80s and 90s. It's not like the over designed muscles, although it does have those. I just think it hides it better. The ears are a perfect length. The cowl is sick. I love that it's rubber, so when he takes it off, it's like, it's not just a clean break. It's like jagged, and it just looks like he ripped it right off, because he did. I love that. I think it looks really sick, especially if it's like a Batman who is like battle damaged. There's a Batman cartoon, I think it's the Court of Owls one, where he has kind of the same concept, like he's fighting Talon, and he rips off his mask, and it's like the rubber effect that this one has. I really love that. I love the Bat logo and how it's kind of tied to his cowl and his cape. It looks like it kind of keeps everything down. That's really sick. His cape is also awesome. It's very like leather, and I think it works really well with this version of Batman. This whole suit, I have a whole video actually just talking about Keaton and Reeves' influence on the characters, and I have a whole section of that video where I talk about their suits, and in my opinion, rightfully so. This suit is iconic. I think it has inspired many other Batman iterations, especially in live action, and I think it honestly is one of the standards. Now, that being said, I'm going to move on to my number one spot. And if you haven't guessed it yet, number one is, in fact, Robert Pattinson's Batsuit from The Batman. This one is very controversial because a lot of people seem to hate it, like a lot, and a lot of people seem to love it a lot, like me. And this one, for me, is perfection, frankly, because it is, some people argue that it's over-designed, but I disagree. I think it's over-designed in the way that Bale's is, only to an even higher, to an even better extent here. The abs are, it has like these abs, but they don't look like abs. It just looks like armor plating. His whole chest, or his whole suit, is very tactical. Like his chest piece is armor plated. It looks like he's just wearing a bulletproof suit. He has those shoulder pads that move like Bale's looked like they did, but these look even, the whole suit just looks movable. It looks efficient. It looks realistic. It's the perfect blend for me of like as realistic as you could possibly get while still being Batman. And I love the way the cowl has like a turtleneck almost around the back of his neck, and how it comes out of the suit, so it doesn't have these weird like pins pinning it down. I love his gauntlets, how it has, you could see his tools that he uses. Like I believe they're his grappling hooks in his gauntlets. His cape is leather. It looks sick. I love his combat boots. I love his utility belt. I mean, he's got the straps on the legs, kind of like what they were going for in the Flash Batsuit, but obviously very well executed here. The pants I love because they're not like the rest of the suit. Actually, they're like more of a, I don't want to just say cargo pant, but they are kind of like that. So that's what I'm talking about. Like this suit is very unique, very practical. I think it stands out amongst the rest. I love the cowl, like the stitching on the cowl. It looks very, it just fits the vibe so well. And if you've seen the movie, it really just adds to it. Like seeing this suit in the rain, or hearing him walk with his boots and hearing them clank. He's just very imposing in this suit. And in my opinion, like I said, it's like a perfect amalgamation of all the suits that we've talked about to this point. It's got the fantastical Batman elements, like he obviously still looks like Batman. It's got the tacticalness, just the cool look to it. The color scheme is perfect. This is like, honestly, this is what I wanted to see Ben Affleck wear. Like if Ben Affleck wore this suit, I would have been very, very happy. But I love Pattinson's Batman. Again, that might play a role into this, but I don't really give a shit. I think this suit rocks. If you don't, you could talk to a wall, because I'm not changing my mind. And this is one of the rare cases where it's like, usually when we get a superhero sequel movie, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what the new suit is. But for this one, I'm like, no, genuinely, please just keep the suit. The suit fucking rocks. It's just really cool. It's like, it's perfect for a Gotham that's like very gaslight or like noir type that Pattinson's is. It's very like steampunk, you know. It's just perfect for Pattinson's vibe, and I just love it. It's realistic, fantastical. It's Batman to me. This is Batman. Like if I had to picture Batman in real life, this is exactly what would come to mind. And before this movie, I wouldn't have even been able to articulate what I would have wanted it to look like. But this is it right here. I love this suit. With that being said, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say. Obviously, I can talk about Batman for hours and hours and hours, and you'll hear me talk about him a lot more on this channel. Again, this is something I feel like I have to say in every video. I am nowhere near an expert. These are just my opinions. But if you guys disagree, let me know down below what your list is. I'd love to see it and, you know, kind of pick your guys' brains, see what you guys think. Hopefully you stuck around this long. If you did, I do appreciate it. I value all you guys' time, and I will see you guys in the next video.